Are you ready for a delicious meal and a great time? Then head to the Hoosier Ice House, located in beautiful downtown Lawrenceburg. Whether you're craving a juicy burger, a fresh crisp salad, or something in between, the Hoosier Ice House has a fantastic lunch and dinner menu to satisfy every taste. And when the weather's calling your name, their amazing outdoor venue is the perfect spot to relax and enjoy your meal. Soak up that downtown atmosphere. We also want to give a huge thank you to the Hoosier Ice House for being a proud sponsor of the Rock Solid Families podcast. We truly appreciate your support in helping us build stronger families in our community. For great food, great service, and a fantastic outdoor experience, make your way to the Hoosier Ice House in downtown Lawrenceburg, Indiana. Come on down to the Hoosier Ice House, where good times are always on tap. When it comes to building, you need a name you can trust. You need Maxwell Construction. Maxwell Construction delivers quality, whether you're looking for a new commercial space for your business or a dream residential home for your family. They build with integrity, crafting structures that stand the test of time. We want to extend a sincere thank you to Maxwell Construction for being a vital sponsor of the Rock Solid Families podcast. Their commitment helps us build stronger families in our community. For your next commercial or residential project, choose the proven quality of Maxwell Construction. Find them online or give them a call today. That's Maxwell Construction, building your future one quality structure at a time. Welcome to Strong Dads and Rock Solid Families. You've never done Rock Solid Families, have you?
Maybe the one time you interviewed me.
Yeah. Okay.
But a 2-for-1.
We're doing a 2-for-1 again. So, well, Andy, thanks for joining me.
Absolutely.
And so it's been a while. So those of you guys who have been out there, you know a little bit of our story here. So Strong Dads and Rock Solid Families, the podcast, took a little bit of break due to my cancer diagnosis.
I can't believe you would stop posting podcasts because of that. Come on.
Well, I tried, but the brain stopped working, and it's just starting to try to work. So me stuttering all over the place is probably not what anybody wants to hear. So anyway, we are going to attempt a show, you and I, together today. We'll see how that rolls.
Don't tell them that there was 4 takes before this. Guys, this is going to be great.
It's now 11 o'clock at night. We've been doing this all day. We're exhausted because Merrill can't remember anything. No, all joking aside, we are going to have a show here. There's some things that I would just, mostly out of appreciation and thanks, I want to say thank you to all of the support that Linda and I and really Rock Solid Families, our ministry has been getting. It's been crazy. So just want to say thank you for that and to all of you out there. And I do want to give a little update. People are asking how we're doing and that kind of thing. And so I am not one to want to talk a lot about this stuff. I'm a little bit more private, but I also think that people are asking, and I owe it to them just to be honest and tell them what's going on.
And they're asking in a loving way too. You know, when they're genuinely, sincerely like, hey, how is Merle doing? And you know, they want to be on the knowledge of how can they pray for you too, you know, and your family and what that looks like. So so a couple of things. If you are brand new to what's going on here, I was diagnosed back. I think the official date was August 23rd. Is that right? July 23rd. July 23rd. With glioblastoma. And so I said that in one of my the first show. And glioblastoma, and I have a very, very, I'll just call it the worst or severe case. As the doctors were describing it to me, they're like, that's not good either. And that's not good either. Like, so the DNA wasn't good. No.
I have 3 different tumors with it. Yeah. So all of that stuff was just not very encouraging. And obviously that's a shock to your system to know that, so what are you really saying? So the idea here really is to date, there is no cure for glio.
Yep.
And, you know, people, There have been people who live a couple years, people who live a few months. You're kind of across the board depending on how treatments go and that kind of stuff.
Yep.
But there's probably no way outside of a miracle cure from the good Lord above. So,
Yes.
We've wrapped our head around that. Lots of prayers, tons of tears. You may even see tears today. I have no idea. I don't have them written in a script, but all of a sudden the emotions hit, and it's all I can do to just hold it together. So, how about before I go any farther, let's thank our sponsors.
Let's do it.
All right. So we want to thank Quality Auto Mart, Casey's Outdoor Solutions, the Hebron Grill, Maxwell Construction, and Hoosier Ice House. And so we're combining them because, as you can see, we're combining both shows for a while here until we get our act together. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, come on.
So anyway, let's see here. I want to make sure. I want to say first, just thank you to this community.
Yeah.
This community has been amazing.
Yes.
And that right there is enough to make me go into tears. Our community has come around us and supported us on all fronts, everything from fixing meals to praying to even financially. People have stepped up and really helped out. And so that has blown us away. And I think one thing that, Andy, that kind of reminds me of is just the importance of being connected with people.
Yeah.
A church home, a community. Wow, I can't imagine not having the support that we've got.
Yeah,
so.
And there are people who live that way without the support and community. But I think you're right that was God's design, was for us to be able to oh, you're in need.
Yeah.
And I know it's hard for some of us to say that I need some help with this. And some of our pride gets in the way. I can do it. It's not a bad thing for people who want to. Some people have that servant's heart.
Yeah.
I really want to help. What can I do?
Yeah. Yeah. So I want to thank my team of doctors. So there's actually 3 different teams, and they pass you off based off of what treatment you're getting at the time.
Yeah.
So I have 3 different teams of doctors. They're all out of the UC. And I think something that I want to point out is that even though UC is a secular university and a research institution, the amount of faith from my doctors is just really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they've prayed with us.
Oh, wow.
They've talked about the importance of faith.
Yeah.
And so it's just I think sometimes people don't realize that doctors also know that they are limited as well.
Yeah.
And so every one of my doctors is and just keep praying. Keep praying.
I could see how doctors could be one of the biggest believers. I wonder how many miracles they see. Unexplainable things like, well, it wasn't me. I don't know how this happened, but yeah.
And one of the biggest miracles that I think a lot of us don't always understand is how you can have peace in an unsettling time.
Yeah.
There's lots of reasons to not always feel comfortable in my current situation. But as far as there's a peace that is in our family right now. And, that I can't attribute that to anyone but Christ. So, So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me give you a little update on my current treatment. So, currently I am going through radiation. I am wrapping up, as we speak, I'm wrapping up my 2nd week. I have a 3-week. It kind of changed the protocol for me a little bit, mostly because we live a little bit farther away from the hospitals. So we were able to do a 3-week, but it's a little bit higher intensity, which I think I'm paying for that a little bit.
Yeah, I could see that, yeah.
So I'm wrapping up my 2nd week.
Okay.
I take some chemo pills, which do not make me feel good.
Oh, yeah, no.
I'm not real nauseous. It just kind of puts me out of it.
Yeah.
And so for about 3 or 4 hours, I'm just disconnected more than normal.
More than normal. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. So, and then I seem to come back around a little bit. So I have 1 more week of that left, and then we hang out for about a month and let the swelling go back down from the radiation and from the chemo, and we just try to assess how am I doing? Okay. A couple of my symptoms that, and everybody who has glio has different symptoms because it depends on where it's hitting in the brain.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and so for me, there is there's what we call the motor strip. There's a sensory and motor strip that kind of runs through the back of the head. Or maybe it's the front. I'm not exactly sure. They just
depends on how the scan looks.
Yeah, it depends on how the scan looks. And so I have a delay in what I'm seeing and then like touching, and it's not significant, but it's enough to be confusing.
Yeah.
So like last night, I was practicing just throwing a ball up and just trying to catch it.
Really?
Yeah, just to see if my hands could come where they need as I knock my mic, to see if they could come together and catch the ball. And I was catching it, but I wouldn't want somebody to throw me even a 50-mile-an-hour ball, pitch, because my teeth would probably catch it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, not good.
Yeah. So anyway, that's kind of where I'm at right now. Haven't felt very sick, but definitely low energy. So anyway. A couple of different things that I wanted to talk about, and then I know, Andy, you and I have some back and forth questions, right? Yep. So, it's hard for me to believe that this was one of my best summers I've said that in the last show, of working out and doing life and just feeling good. Had no clue up until like the week before that something wasn't right. But all of a sudden, when things started going sideways, my whole summer just shut down. Yeah. So we joke, I'm on Strava.
Oh, yeah.
For working out. And so I had my numbers on Strava as high as I've had them. And now they're just dropping like a rock. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Right. You got this thing where it's going to measure like your heart rate as your activity levels and your sleep, and really be able to adjust your workouts to that.
Oh, I bought this stupid Aura ring. and I'm not slamming Aura's rings. But
Aura, if you want to sponsor this podcast.
But I got it. I literally got this thing about 8 weeks ago. So I had 2 weeks of monitoring myself.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, all the bottom has dropped out. I'm like, why am I even monitoring myself now? I'm not even hardly walking.
When you get back to getting after it, though, that thing's going to be like, look what you've done,
Yeah, I get frequent reminders. It's time to move. It's time to move. Like,
you don't know, ring.
So anyway, but I do think some things is some questions I think are that come to my mind is, okay, what's important? Mm-hmm. What's important right now?
Yes.
And so a priority list starts to come up of what's important. And I think all of us have to go through creating those priorities of what's important. Sometimes it's work and sometimes it's, family or whatever. But at some point in time, certain things in life pull you in to say, is that really important? And so, that's a big thing right now. We have a wedding coming up now. So we've changed our daughter's wedding date, and that's coming up here in October. That's important, right? We want the family to come together and enjoy that. So that's a big thing. I also just think putting things in their proper perspective of the things that make us anxious and that kind of stuff. It's like, is that really worth me getting upset about or angry about? Like, who cares? So those are things that I'm on a regular basis going, don't really care.
Not a big deal.
And it's not that I don't care about something important. It's just that I'm not going to sweat it.
That's really good. Yeah.
So that kind of stuff is definitely happening. So anyway, I mean, that's pretty much where I'm at. So enough about me, right?
Okay. Well, now that you're
show's over.
See you guys. No, I think one of the things when you had reached out about having these questions, almost every single session when I sit in, that's probably one of the first things going on is how's Merrill doing? And it's a genuine, like when you, Linda and your family, as awesome and nice as you guys are and giving to other people, they see that, they want to turn around like, wow, well, what can we do in return, and how is he doing? They're wanting questioning. And so, I've got a couple here that kind of will, I think, maybe bring some other ones to mind, which did to me. How can people who aren't in the situation you're in live bringing important things to mind? Like, how do they that's a really good thing to like, why am I stressing over this when it is not in the grand scheme of things as important as what I'm making it right now?
Yeah. One of the things that I would encourage all of us to do, and I started doing this before any of this happened, but this just brought it home, was, when Lynn and I work with couples, we talk about the priority of relationships.
Yeah.
And the number one relationship has got to be God.
Yeah.
Because if it's not God, then that means you're God. In other words, you're the one who thinks you're in control. You're the one who thinks you're running the ship. And that's really misleading, because at some point in time, you're going to run the ship aground.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so the important part, I think, that I would encourage is starting to wrap your head around the idea of what it would look like for you to surrender. Surrender your ship. What would that look like?
Yeah.
And I'm thankful that I had started that process long before this. And when I was in the hospital and the doctor, Linda and I were there, we actually had some friends visiting at the time, and the doctor asked them to leave. And I was like, oh, that's not good.
Yeah.
And he delivered the darkest of news right there.
Yeah.
And, obviously we were all in tears and stuff, but it was right away, both Lynn and I were like, well, whatever his will is.
Yeah. His will be done.
And the cool thing about that was there was no anger. There was no why me, because I think we had already gone through this process of priorities long before this had happened.
That's good.
And so that would be one of my encouragements. Like, if you have not put your priority that God is first, why not? And then what would it look like if God were first?
That's good.
And so I would encourage that, like, give it to him first. He's the one in charge. You're not. So that would be one of my first things. I'm not sure if I'm answering that completely.
That is. Well, what you'll do is, when the priorities get set straight and something comes up that'll rub against it, you can look at your priority list like, okay, this isn't falling on high on the list. Maybe I don't need to put as much stress and worry and anxiety into whatever the situation is, because it's a lower priority list thing, because you were proactive in that and said, okay, these are the things that we're prioritizing in our life.
Yeah. Well, and the number one relationship. So in other words, a relationship, why is a relationship important? Well, because you get something out of a relationship and you put something into a relationship, right? So that's what makes it relational. And so the idea here is, what are you pouring into, and what's pouring into you?
Yep.
And if it's other people, which, by the way, is important.
Yes.
But other people are not going to fix you.
No.
Right. And so that's why I think it was really important for us to say the one entity is going to be God.
Yeah.
And then after that, of course, in our line of work, it's your spouse.
Yes.
So your spouse is your number two.
Yep.
Right. Because Linda can't cure me.
No.
Right. She can try to, and she's helping like crazy, and she's bending over backwards just with service to her whole family here. But she's not going to be able to carry what I'm asking to be carried.
Yeah. And what's cool with that too, and I think people, they're like, well, am I going, because if I focus so much on God, does that mean I'm going to neglect other people in my life, like my spouse or my kids? And I think what's crazy is, if you, and I think that could be a hindrance to people, a barrier to why they don't fully surrender, is they're fearful of what it could do. But I think, and I've seen it in my own life and seen it in yours, the trickle effect to the rest of the relationships, if God is number one, is dramatically increased, not decreased. It's increased how much better you're a husband because you're a son of our Father first. How much better you're a father to your children and grandchildren because you're a son of the Father first.
Yeah. I mean, you're hitting the nail on the head, because, a lot of people who go through these situations, and I could be one as well, I mean, can get angry, can get depressed, which the depression thing, I think sometimes like I'm just in a funk. But the idea that you're angry or resentful at God or whatever, and then that comes out onto other people, right? How you treat your spouse and everything. I think that part has been really cushioned because I'm not blaming, and I'm not angry, and I'm okay in the ways of walking through this. So that makes it better, I think, for all of us, only because we set the priority that God's first.
Yes. Yeah. Another question I had, and I was thinking about how to word this, but I think just, are you afraid to die? Or did that ever come up because of, your belief that I'm going to go to heaven? Where does that fall line?
Yeah. I've tackled this question long before I was ever diagnosed.
Yeah.
I am not afraid to die. I know this sounds weird, but I'm looking forward to being with Christ.
Yeah.
And so in a selfish way, I'm getting ready to be free. I don't know how long, right?
Yeah.
But I'm getting ready to be free. And you guys are stuck. So and again, and I don't say that, to be sarcastic or anything, but it's like there's freedom coming.
Yeah.
And so with that being said, I'm not afraid of dying. I do have thoughts about the process.
Yeah.
How much pain? How long? How uncomfortable or miserable or how much of a stress am I going to be on other people?
Yeah.
So I am trying to wrap my head around that kind of stuff, and I'm asking for guidance that way.
Absolutely.
But as far as the actual leaving this life, there's a real sense of peace there.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
That's really good.
And just praying that I'm praying that because I'm pretty good at handling some pain just from endurance athletics and stuff, but I don't like it.
No.
This is pretty uncomfortable. I want to be done with this. So, I'm just praying that the good Lord takes care of us in that way.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know you've talked about this, and you've even said it on your last thing about Rock Solid Families, and you guys have said this multiple times. This was never your guys' ministry, you and Linda.
Right.
This was God's ministry that said, I'm going to start you guys off in this process of helping families and individuals and couples. And then, you've been able to be blessed to hire other people, myself, Kim, Jenna, and the need is still there. What has been your thoughts on Rock Solid, Strong Dads, when this came down? I know there's probably stages of it,
Right. Well, from the get-go, I never looked at Rock Solid Families as mine.
Yeah. And
I know Linda hasn't as well. I mean, once it got launched, it was really, within the year that we launched it, we were like, okay, it's getting some traction.
Yeah.
So how do we grow it and move it to its next owners or caretakers?
Yeah.
And so I have never looked at Rock Solid Families as mine. And so now the idea here is we want Rock Solid Families to continue to do the ministry of family work, marriage and family work. And I feel really confident with you and with Kim and Jenna and of course Linda that's just going to. I'm probably the lid who have held it back,
No way.
Well, there's just different, we joke when we started Rock Solid Families, I was like, I'm starting a new, I'm at the time I was 55. I'm like, I'm starting a new business at 55. People are usually checking out at 55 for retirement.
Yeah.
And so, I was, Linda was very excited about starting Rock Solid Families. I was excited about the idea of doing our own kind of ministry and kind of being in charge of that. But I was like, the last thing I want to do is go work for another 20 years and because of the struggle to get it off the ground. So I'm really content with the idea that you guys who are taking things over and are just going to run things because we just trust and know your heart, and families and marriages are going to continue to hopefully prosper and do well.
Yeah. And I think that's something too that I never once had that fear. I never once thought like, oh my gosh, oh no, what's going to happen now? Like, but intrinsically, I know that I have other people would, and I think, I don't know if it's faith-based or if it's an understanding, like, I don't think that the Lord who would use this ministry would take this situation and say like, I think we're going to be done with rock. No, I never had that thought or belief.
Yeah.
And so that peace that transcends all understanding, like that doesn't come from me.
Right.
That didn't come from, so, but along with that, you brought up my next question, and I think of like bucket list, right? You get to the point where you talked about importances, but also risk. You're at 55 years old. You could have said, I'm retiring from education. I'm just going to go enjoy my time with my family and ride my bike and travel around. But you said, I'm going to go take a risk at the ripe old age of 55 and start a nonprofit. Would you look at other people like how, you people like, oh, let me do this, get my bucket list before I kick the bucket, but not necessarily in that way, but how do people live a life where I'm happy that I took these risks?
So I do think, and this comes, I've talked about this in many other shows. It comes from my dad and the idea of, when you're on your final days, are you going to say, I wish I would have?
Yeah.
And so I really, there's going to be very few of those I wish I would have for me. And that came, I think, initially from my dad. My dad was just always the guy who said, well, go do it. Give it who cares if you fail kind of thing. Just go do it. And so I knew at 55, we still had 3 kids at home. And, I knew I still needed to work.
Yeah.
I just didn't know what work was going to look like. And I guess what this is about being obedient. So a gentleman, and I've talked about this before, came in. He heard I was getting ready to retire out of the school system. And he's like, so if you could do anything in ministry, what would it be?
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, I was going to go work at Home Depot or something. And so when he said that, it was hard for me to look the other way because I was 55. I still had kids at home, still needed to work.
Yep.
And still, it wasn't like I didn't like what I was doing. Yep. I just thought that chapter was closing. And so when I was challenged with that, I think one of the takeaways is God puts challenges out in front of you, and he wants to see what you're going to do with them.
That's good.
Are you just going to, that looks like too much, which I've done. I've taken easy routes before.
Yeah.
I think we all have, right? You just go, I'm not sure if my heart's in it. But I do think it's important that you do prayerfully discern, that you do talk with your significant others, and you go, well, would we have regrets if we didn't?
Yes.
Right. And so that was when we adopted our 3 younger kiddos.
Yep.
When it came push to shove and we had to make a final decision.
Yeah.
We did have the opportunity to say, this is just too much. And I just said, I can't live with myself if I do that.
That's good.
There's just no way that I could live with myself for the rest of my life going, I pushed them out of my life because it was uncomfortable or it would have been harder.
Yes.
And so, those are the things that I think you do have to have some serious prayer and heart to heart because you don't know the answers on the front side of that, right?
Nope.
So I'm going to say yes to this adoption, or I'm going to say yes to whatever, starting the ministry.
Yep. What's the ripple effect look like? We don't know.
Like what's it going to cost, right? What's the time, energy, headaches, blessings, right? Because it's hard. Not everything's a blessing, but not everything's a headache, right? They all are part of life. So,
Which
so fishing through that.
You worded it correctly that I didn't think turned into be like, well, YOLO, let's just do it. Who cares? You didn't say prayerfully consider if this is YOLO, I'm doing it. Like, okay, that's not what I said. That's okay. Take that context.
Yeah.
You did a great job, because that was going to be my, like, I wonder how this is. That, I think that was worded great in terms of like, okay, the community you've put around yourself based upon the order of importance of relationships.
Right.
And faith being number one. So I'm going to pray to my Father in heaven, like, okay, is this a challenge you put in front of me? Now let's look at the community around me. Is this something that we think we can take on? And would we regret if we didn't?
Right.
And that was, same with myself getting out of education. Like, I think I would have regretted not saying yes to Rock Solid, no matter what the outcome was going to be. I firmly believe that, and think that's a great way to order those events, to say, all right, this is a good challenge to take on.
Yeah. I mean, and we don't know what, the future holds with that. I mean, you could find yourself back in education in your case, or you could, sometimes we think when we take a turn that it's the turn of no return, right? And it's like, I don't know that. I mean, I've started jobs and quit jobs and come back to jobs. And so life will have its own way of working out. I think the important part is that you prayerfully discern, and whether, you feel the pulling of the Holy Spirit, which I think in these cases, these were strong pulling, our adoption, our starting the ministry, having kids, all these different things were like, no, this is real. Like, you can feel it as tangible. Yes. We need to move on it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that too, I think, like, when you talk about, you said that at one of our talks when we sat down about Rock Solid Families, and that was one of the things that, like, okay, if this guy can say, Andy, if it doesn't work out, you can go find another job.
Right.
Or if it does work out, great. Like, you are not jumping off the edge of a cliff if you come and say yes to Rock Solid Families. And that wisdom within that, such a small little statement that may, for some people, be like, that's not that big of a deal. Like, no, it's a securing thing. Like, if you come over here, this isn't the end of your life if it works or doesn't work out.
Yeah.
You know? And so for that, I was like, that's a really wise statement. And if I could learn underneath somebody that has that wisdom, then let's glean through it as long as possible. So, and I don't know how many, I've only got like one more question left, which will kind of be the wrap up. I don't know how many more.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah.
Okay. And we've kind of talked about it, I think, but if you were to tell others going in a situation like this, and maybe this is like the wrap up question here, what would you tell others? What advice, like going through this, like make sure, boom, this happens, or what would you give them?
I guess I'm going to go back to your priority in your relationships. And I guess I'm going to go back to the idea of where is God in that for you? Because it's really the center stone of how you'll make all your other decisions. And so I would just have to go back to that any of you, who are out there making decisions and just doing life, where is God in the center of these, or is God not even part of the picture?
Yeah.
And, and I can see that, right? Like, I've been guilty of that myself. Like, I'll just do it. And then, I'm constantly cleaning up the mess.
Yeah.
So, but I would really challenge all of us to say, let me just say too, like, man, if you and your spouse can both do this together, the synergy of that, of both of you saying, let's both pray together, let's both bring this to God, it puts you, you're no longer against your spouse. The two of you are now coordinating. You get this harmony going as you try to please and work for the, for Christ. And I would just say, like, that's a huge takeaway here. Get yourself together with Christ as a leader, and then let's start to let the chips fall where they are going to fall there. Yeah.
I did actually miss one question that I had within this. How has Scripture come alive since this? You've talked about reading the Word for years, but totally different situation. Has it changed for you, or has it been the same of like, no, this has been my bread for a long time?
It's been my bread for, I'll say, for a good 15 years. All my life I've gone to church and knew about God and never refused God in terms of who he is. But I think the understanding of the relationship with God and where I am in that relationship, that has changed.
Yeah.
And so I would say that it's been an opportunity for me to understand who I am in God's eyes.
Yeah.
Right. Like, so I'm a child of God and all that, but the idea that he actually does care, the idea that you can actually go to him, you can plead to him. And, I think we sometimes think that God is a yes, no, black, white God, right? Like it's either yes or no. These are the rules. And that's just not how God works. God wants your plea for prayer. Yeah. He wants your heart. He wants to see how much you're investing in it. Yep. And when you start to do these things, you get different outcomes. That's good. Than if you would have just said, well, yes or no, God, what do you want? Yeah. So that's why we talk about your faith in Christ is about a relationship. And so if it were just a black, white, yes, no thing, it's not a relationship. It's a switch. Yeah. But you actually have the ability to convince God of what's important to you. Yeah. And he has the ability to respond back to you. Mm-hmm. And so the answers are not set in stone. Yeah. As sometimes we think, well, God already knows what's going to happen. Yeah. And maybe he knows what I'm going to choose or whatever. Yes. But he wants to hear my plea so that he knows that he's part of the plea. And he's not saying your plea is going to change my mind and give you ice cream for breakfast like your kid would do. But we saw it when you read it in the Bible over and over again. If there's just one good person, if there's just two good people, if there's just and how many times back and forth with I don't know who that was with Sodom and Gomorrah and the Lord, but every single time, like, okay, yeah, you're right. Okay, yeah, you're right. And I just read about Moses and Aaron, like, changing the time. I'm going to destroy this nation, Lord, please don't. And he's like, okay, all right, I'm not going to. Yeah, he reads their hearts, right? Yeah. And I think that's the human factor of your relationship with God that I think a lot of people just don't understand. They think God is just like this fixed character and the outcomes are already done. Mm-hmm. And it's just not really how the relationship works. Which is so good to understand. Like I've been a Christian for years, and I've always prayed, Lord, I want this. And then sometimes I get this selfish kick, but it's my will be done. Like, okay, your will be done, Lord. And I kind of like end it, and I don't continue the wrestling match. We had a podcast on that, getting the wrestling, and we're like, is this your will? If it is, that's fine. I'll drink of your cup. But is it? And Jesus showed us that he wrestled to the point of bleeding. Yeah. Like, and then all night long, I wrestled. Come on. Is there any other way? Is there anything else? Nope. Okay. Yeah. Then. Yeah. Yeah. He wants you to pour it all out. And that's demonstrating your faith in him or lack of. Yes. Right. Yes. Well, I'm not even going to bring it to him because he's not going to change anything. Yeah. That's good. Yeah. So I don't know. These are all, let me just tell you, as you hear me speak, I do not feel like I have all this down solid at all. There have been lots of questions, especially this morning. I had to go to chemo and everything, and I felt miserable. Mm-hmm. I felt cruddy. I slept all the way up there. Poor Linda's doing all the driving. I'm just like, I don't even know if I can do a show today because I don't think I want to talk about anything that we're supposed to talk about. Yep. But it's just keep plugging away, and I rebound, and so we go from there. That's awesome. So thank you for taking the time to come and give an update. I know that people appreciate these, and then you being not feeling well today and still wanting to be able, I know that they're going to appreciate that. So thank you. Yep. I see a nap in my future. There you go. But we want to thank you guys, really. Just continue to thank you. Linda and I, Rock Solid Families, we all thank you for the support. It's just been crazy, amazing. We thank you for the prayers, the meals. I am actually up to my old weight, which I'm afraid it's going to keep going the other way now. So I hopped on the scale today. It's only because of strength, right? Yeah. I'm so sore from just starting to work out. I'm like, I'm pathetic. So I am starting to move a little bit. So all of that's good. So anyway, we do want to thank you guys. Yes. Let me run through our sponsors again real fast. We want to thank our guys from Quality Auto Mart, Casey's Outdoor Solutions, the Hebron Grill, Maxwell Construction, and the Hoosier Ice House. Guys, if you're doing any business with them, whether you're doing service or getting a food or whatever it is that you're doing with any of those, tell them thanks for sponsoring Rock Solid Families and our shows here with Strong Dads and Rock Solid Families. These guys listen, they are great community people, and they want to see good things happen for our community. So tell them thanks for being sponsors of what we're doing here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thank you guys for watching, sharing this, for the prayers and the communication. The community is amazing, and around not just your guys' family, but the ministry here that the Lord has given us stewards, a caretaker of. So thank you guys.
All right. So, guys, thanks again for watching. And Rock Solid Families and Strong Dads says thanks and make it a great day.
Yep.
Are you looking to spruce up your yard or maybe even the inside of your house? Look no further than Casey's Outdoor Solutions and Gift Shop. Located just outside of Bright, Indiana, Casey specializes in transforming the outside of your home with expert landscape services, and they'll even help you beautify the inside with unique finds from their charming gift shop. We want to send a huge thank you to Casey's Outdoor Solutions and Gift Shop for being a fantastic sponsor of the Rock Solid Families podcast. Their support helps us to continue to uplift families in our community. For all your landscape dreams and delightful home accents, visit Casey's Outdoor Solutions and Gift Shop, just outside of Bright, Indiana. That's Casey's, making your home beautiful inside and out. Are you hungry for some fantastic food and a great atmosphere? Then head over to the Hebron Grill. Distinctively Southern and soulfully unique, the Hebron Grill has something for everyone. It's the perfect spot for family dinners, a quick lunch, or catching up with friends. We want to send a huge thank you to the Hebron Grill for being a sponsor of the Strong Dads podcast and for their incredible support in helping us empower dads everywhere. So the next time you're looking for a great meal, remember the Hebron Grill. Find them online or stop by today. That's the Hebron Grill. Great food and great community. Is your car making a strange noise? Or maybe your golf cart needs a tune-up? Then you need to head to Quality Auto Mart. Quality Auto Mart isn't just about great auto repair and muffler service for your car. They're also your go-to experts for golf cart sales and repair. And we want to give a huge thank you to Quality Auto Mart for being a dedicated sponsor of the Strong Dads podcast. Their support helps us empower dads in our community and beyond. For all your car repair needs, muffler service, or anything golf cart related, trust the team at Quality Auto Mart. Visit them today and tell them the Strong Dads podcast sent you. That's Quality Auto Mart, located on Route 46 outside Batesville, Indiana. Call them at 812-934-2301.